We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello everyone, I'm Professor AKRUTI from AHMEDABAD Institute of Technology. Today I'm back with one more video lesson on C programming concept. Today we will talk about the string concept. So let us see that. Okay, so in this string we will go through the 3 parts. First one is concept, second one is functions, and third one is programs. We will go through what is the string all about.
Okay, so first of all, the first part is about the definition. What basically the string is. See, string is a one-dimensional array. We have gone through the concept of array. What was one-dimensional array? Means a single row with multiple columns or a single column with multiple rows. So similarly, string is a one-dimensional array of characters. Normally when we talk about characters, it only take one single kind of alphabet or symbol in character data type. But when we talk about character array, it takes the collection of characters which is known as string. So the second definition of this string is it's a sequence of characters ending with null character. Here it is important to know that all the string ends with a null character. Null is defined by a backslash and 0 together. So what is null character? In simplest term, I can explain. Whenever we are writing any sentence in any language, whether it is Gujarati, Hindi, English, we complete that by a full stop, right? So similarly, null character has the same work. Whenever we encounter a string, it ends with by default null character so that we can get where the word is stopping or where the phrase is stopping. Suppose I'm having one string hello world, okay, and in next line I'm having one more string hi world. So when my memory will store these 2 strings, it will never come to know which is my first line and which is my second line. So to differentiate these 2 things, ending with a null character is must. We will see the concept of null character further also. So first of all, let us see how to declare and initialize a string. There are 4 ways in which we can initialize it. First way is we have to write the data type char compulsory here because string array cannot be defined without the data type character. And the short form for character data type is char in C. The keyword for character data type is char in C. Okay, so char we have defined the array name C and I have mentioned the size 5. That is the basic array declaration which we have seen in previous lectures also. So char C5 is equal to, then in curly braces I have to mention all the letters individually. That is hello is mentioned as HELLO and every word, every letter here is mentioned in single inverted comma. See, you can see H, E, L, L and O, right? So whatever characters you want to include, you have to mention it separately by comma and single inverted comma. As we have seen the definition of string that all the sequence of character is ending with a null character, right? But you don't need to end it with a null character explicitly. It will be by default end with null character. Second thing, if you want to end it with null character, then also you may write it in that way. As I have mentioned here, you can see hello and after that I have ended it with a null character. It's not necessary that you end it with null, but if you end it with null also then also it's fine. If you don't end it then also it's fine. Here I have not mentioned the size, so whenever my compiler will execute this code, it will by default take it as 5 because I'm having the letters hello which results in length 5. Okay, so now the third way in which the string can be defined, this is most easiest way. You don't need to separate it with comma, unlike this first one, right? Here you are directly mentioning the string in curly braces with double inverted comma. Okay, and you can directly write your string here. I have mentioned the size here. If I don't want to mention the size, then also it's fine, but it's compulsory to initialize the string at right side so that the compiler can get to know how my string is terminating. Okay, what is the length of the string? Now let us say the storage in the memory. As in array we were having index. Okay, same way we are having indices here also. My string will start from the 0th index till size -1, but here I am having null character, so it will be exactly as per my size. If I am writing hello, you can see at 0th index h is stored here, at 0th index h is stored, at 1e, 2l, third lo, and here you can see the fifth one is having null character, which is exactly my size 5 mentioned here, right? So that is the basic concept which you should keep in your focus about string array, right? So that's how you declare and initialize your string. Now your next concept is significance of null character. As we have seen that all the strings in C programming ends with null character. Why we need to end it with null character? Simply, we can take the real life example that in every sentence we use a full stop to show its ending, right? Similarly, the end of the string is also assumed by a null character, that is backslash and a 0. If I'm not mentioning a null character, or my compiler is not adding null character into my string, it will never know where my word is ending, where my line is ending, because everything will get stored in the contiguous memory allocation we have seen in the array also. Here we are having character array. So because of the consecutive array location storage, we need to end this with a null character. So this is asked in a lot of exam papers also, that what is the significance of null character. So you can mention three things. First is the real life example, that we actually do not know where to end the sentence. For that we use full stop. Same way, null character is for showing the end of the string. Second thing, if I want to find the length of a string, suppose I have written hello world, then how would I know how many characters are in my string? For that also null character is important. So I have mentioned that in first point, to know the length of a string. Second, in memory, every string gets saved together as a character array, right? So it really becomes tough to identify the end of a word. Human brain can identify that if I'm writing my name is AKRUTI, then there is one space before name, there is one space before is, there is one space before AKRUTI, and my sentence ends there. That my human brain knows. But what about the machine? So that's why null character is must. So that was about the significance of your null character, and it's important to remember this because this can be asked in a lot of exams. Now the third point, how to initialize a string in the form of a sentence. Suppose I'm having a sentence which is having multiple spaces. So I need to declare space there. If I'm not mentioning a space, my string will not know that there are two different words. I do not need to end every word with a null character. I only need to end one string that can be a sentence, multiple words, or a single word. And only that ends with a null character. Suppose I'm writing hello world, the simplest way is writing hello space world. Okay, that will by default the compiler will know that there is a space between hello and world. Or the second example is that if you are writing it like this in single inverted comma, you have to mention a space here. As you can see here, there is a single inverted comma and nothing has been written in between, right? So there is a blank space. So you can see the hello and world is separated by the single inverted comma, which means a blank space, right? So that is the way in which your string will work on a blank space.
Okay, so now let us see how to print a string. So basically we can use a simple printf function. As you can see here, I have taken one character array as mentioned here, that is character C size 11. I have mentioned hello world, okay, and I'm printing it simply by the control symbol %s here. Always remember, whenever you are dealing with a character array, you have to use the control symbol %s. You were using %d for integer, %f for float. If you are dealing with simple character, %c was there. But when you are using a character array which is known as your string, you have to use %s. Then after comma, I'm mentioning the name of array, which is C here. Okay. After that, I'm just printing it and running this program, and I will get the output hello world. Okay. Here there is one more concept that I have used the size 11. You can see my letters were only 10, HELLO and world. This both turned as only 10. Still I have to mention the size 11 because I have to count the blank space also. Okay, if I'm not counting my blank space, then my program will show error. So that is the main thing, that you have to encounter the word hello world plus blank space. That's why it's 11. If I mention the slide as size 10, then my output will change. Let us see that. If I'm having here character C10 hello world, then on printing this statement, I will get only hello space WORL. You can see here D is missing because on counting this blank space, my letter size turns into 11. Okay, that's why D is missing here, because my array size is only 10 here. You can see a warning also, initializer string for array of character is too long, because size is 10 and the length of this string is 11 including the blank space. So don't forget ever to count the blank space also. That is the main thing in which you have to deal with the string functions. Okay.
Next example. There are various ways to take string input from the user. What we have seen in previous slide was we were declaring and initializing the string by giving value from our side directly. But what if I want to give the string from the console so that user inputs it and my string takes it? Okay. So for that, there are three ways. The first way is by scanf function. We are all familiar with the scanf function. Okay. So what I have done here is I have mentioned one character array with size 100. I can take any size. Okay. I have printed the message, enter the string. Then I have scanned it. Here the character array is mentioned by the %s symbol, and I have taken it in the name C. You can see the array C here. Okay, so I have mentioned it here. And then I have get it printed that entered string is %s and C. So that is the simplest way in which I can get this output. Here the message comes, enter the string. I have entered hello, and the entered string is hello. That is my output. If I have mentioned something else here, something else will get printed here. Okay, so that is the easiest way to print a string by using a scanf function. Now what is the way to? Before going to way 2, yes, there is one limitation also in scanf function that we will see in further slide. Limitation of scanf function is that if I'm entering a string with a space, okay, as you can see here in the input, if I'm entering hello world, there is one space here. The entered string which is scanned is only hello. It doesn't scan the word after space. If a blank space is encountered, it doesn't consider the words after that. So that is, we can say, the limitation of scanf function. Okay, if I'm doing the same program that I enter the string, scan it, and entered string is like this something, and I'm entering this, then it will scan hello only. So to remove this limitation, there is one more way to scan the string, and that is by using the Gatiss function. Basic syntax of the Gatiss function is Gatiss. In the bracket, I have to mention the string name, that is the name of my character array. Okay, so we can see one more program here. Yes, and before starting the usage of string functions, it is always important to include string.h header file. Without this file, no string functions will work. Okay, as we have seen, stdio.h was for standard input output header file for printf scanf function, right? So for the string functions, we need to use string.h header file. So don't forget to use this. So the first thing in Gatiss function is including the string.h file. Now I'm mentioning one character array. I'm entering the message printf, enter the string. Here the name of my array is C. So in Gatiss, simply I have to write C. Then I'm getting it printed that entered string is %s and C. So you can see, first of all, it will give me enter the string. I'm entering hello world, and the output which I have mentioned in printf, that is my second message, entered string is hello world. Okay, you can see there is no problem with the backspace here, which initially was happening with the scanf function. It was terminating the string after the backspace, but in getS function it doesn't terminate the string after the backspace. Now the third way. What is the third way to take input from the user? This is little complicated, but it's mostly used in various files also. So for that, the function fgetAs is used, in which three arguments are there. First one is a string name. Second one is number of characters which you want to take from the user. And third, standard input, which is in short form written as stdin. Here your string name is the name of the character array which you are gonna mention. I have given here the example. I'm taking one array name, its size is 10. Now I'm printing the message, enter your name please. So I'm mentioning the fgetAs function. I have written here name because my character array name is name, right? Then I have mentioned 4. That means whatever name I'm entering, I only want 4 characters from the user. That's why I have mentioned 4. Okay, here. That is my argument. You can see the first one is string name, second one is number of characters, third one is stdin. So similarly, name only 4 characters and stdin by default I have to write. I have taken here name because my array name is name. Okay. Then I'm getting it printed simply. Printf my name is %s and name. And you can see here, first input is my first printf message, this one. Enter your name please. Okay, that is here. Enter your name please. I'm entering my name, AKRUTI. Second printf statement is my name is %s. Here it takes only 4 letters, in which 3 letters from my name, and which one is fourth? Fourth one is null character. Okay. That's why whenever you want to take the numbers of character to read, always mention it +1 because the last character is null. I have mentioned it 4 here, still it has taken only 3 letters AKR because last one it's taking it as null. Okay, so remember that in this string function, especially in fgetS. Okay, only in this function it's happening about null character. Okay, so now the next one. Now we have seen the various ways of input. 3 ways are there. What was the first one? Simply a scanf function. Second one was a getS function. Third one was fgetS function. Now let us see how to get the output of a string. So there are again 3 ways. Simply first one is printf function. Second one is putas. GetAs was for scanning, putas is for output. Third one is fputas, same as fgetAs. FgetAs was for input, fputas is for output. So you can see directly this in one simple example. In printf, for the first one, in printf, you can see printf, enter your name. Okay, and if I want to print it, I can directly write it. My name is %s and name. Why I have taken name here? Because the name of my array is name. Okay. Second one is putas. Suppose I have taken the input from getAs. My string is taken into input from the getAs function. I can take scanf here also. And if I'm writing it simply putas name, then also it will give me the output, that is AKRUTI here. Okay. The first output, my name is AKRUTI, is from printf function. That is the first output. Second one, putas name, is from my putas function, this AKRUTI. Third one, I'm using it fputas, in which 2 arguments are there, string name and standard out. Okay. So my string name is name because character array is name, and std out I have to write it. Okay, so this will also give me the output of my string, as you can see that combinedly in one example. So that is how you work with the string outputs in these functions. Okay, so up till now we have seen the basic concept of string, what was the definition of string, how to take input from the user, what was the significance of null character, how to see the output of string. This can be asked in various examinations, so prepare it well. Concept is string functions, or we can say that built-in string functions. So there are various built-in string functions. I'm just mentioning the most important list. Still there are, I can say, 20 to 30 functions there. You can go through various materials for that also. We are just covering the most important ones. Before going to the string functions, let me make it very clear that for using any string function, it is important to use string.h header file, because it is the only file that is used for manipulating the strings. Manipulating in the sense, if you want to see some change in the string, that's why you have to use this header file. If you are not using this, then it will show errors many times. Okay, so the first one here is the string length, which is done in the short form here, strlen in C programming. So for checking out the length of the string, we have to use this string length function strlen. In bracket, we are having one argument only, that is string name. Arguments means whatever written in this bracket is your argument. String name is the argument. That means whatever my array name is or whatever my string name is, I have to mention it there. So that is my one argument. So the basic usage is to find the length of the string. Second one is string copy, which is mentioned as strcpy. What it does, it copies the string 2 into string 1. Okay, whatever my string 2 is, that will be copied into string 1. Third one is string cat, which is the short form of string concatenation. String concatenation in the sense I'm concatenating the second string into the first. Suppose I'm having first string as hello, second string as world, and I'm using string concatenation. That means it is concatenating the second string into one, and my output will be hello world. Okay. Fourth one is str, that is string string. What it does, it finds the first occurrence of string 2 in string 1. So whatever my string 2 is, it will find whether it is there in string 1. Suppose I am having string 1 as hello world and I am having world as string 2. So obviously my string 2 is the part of string 1. So it can be found through this str function. Okay. Next one is string compare, that is the short form strcmp. It compares both the string. If these strings are similar, it returns 0. If these strings are different, it returns 1. Okay. If my string is 0, the final output is 0. It means my strings are same. If it is 1, then it means it is different. Okay. So those are the basic string functions. See, there are a lot of many more functions also, but these are the basic ones which you can go through. Most importantly, asked in most of the examination. So now we will see the example of this one by one.
Okay, so now let us see the string functions. First function which we are going through is about string length. As we all know, if we want to know the length of a string, then we have to use the string length function. So basic syntax is strlen, and in the bracket we have to mention the string, or we can say the character array, which will turn into our string. So first character array S is having the string hello, and I want to count the string length, then I have to assign one integer variable in which my length will be stored. So first thing what I have done is length of the string S which I want to find, I have taken it in the variable I. And what I am doing in the print statement is length of the string is %di. String length function always gives the value in one integer. So here it gets printed 5 because hello is having the 5 length. Okay. Now second function which I am using is string copy, which is mentioned at strcpy. The main task of string copy is that it copies the second string into the first one. So whatever my second string is, it will stay as it is, but my first string will get changed. You can see here, but after using the string copy, and I'm printing string 1, string 2 here, my output is word and word same. What was word? That was my string 2, which gets copied to string 1. And now the string 2 stays as it is. Okay, only the string 1 gets changed. We can see the next example also. Suppose I want to use the concatenation operation. Concatenation means appending the one string into another. So what concatenation does here, it appends the second string into the first one. So whenever the concatenation is there, string cat function is used, strcat. We are having two character arrays here, one is hello and world. So after concatenation, when I will print this, you can see here s and t, it will give me the first string as hello world as my t is appended to s. But now my string 2 becomes null. So what was happening in string copy? It was only copying this string into the first one, but second string was remaining as it is. But what happens in string concatenation? It nullifies the second string and it directly appends it to the first string. So here you can see string 2 is nothing. Okay. Now next one is about your string compare. So string compare is basically comparing these two strings, whatever arrays I am having. If they are equal, it will return 0, and if they are different, it will return 1. So as you can see, both the strings are same. I have to take one integer like I was taking in string length. I have to store the result in that. In I am having string compare and I'm printing the I, so you can see the result is 0. Why? Because both the strings are same, word and word. Okay, you can see these two strings. So only in string length and string compare I have to take one integer variable to store their result. In string length was stored in I. In string compare, comparison result is stored in the variable I. You can take any variable, but they have to be in the data type integer. Now let us see the next example.
Okay, so now your next program is about write a C program to accept a string and count the number of vowels present in a string. See, here there are two things that have been asked. First is accept a string. Accept a string in the sense you have to take that from the user as an input. Second thing what they are saying is count the number of vowels present in a string. Okay, the vowels in the sense A, E, I, O and U. Rest of them are consonants, right? So for this, you have to accept a string from the user and count the number of vowels. Before going to the string, there are two header files that will be needed to include here. First one is the basic and most important one, stdio.h, that is your standard input output header file. Second one is your string.h for manipulating the strings. If these two header files are not there in a string program, your program will not run well. It will show an error because compiler will not get to know the meaning of all the things which you will mention in your program. Okay, so now your first sentence is void main in any program. Main is the main keyword from which your program starts to run. In the curly braces of main, whatever you are mentioning, that is your actual executable runnable code. Okay, so in void main here, the first sentence in C programming, your first sentence in void main always is about your variable declaration and initialization. Okay, so first thing I have taken here is integer variable C, that is for traversing through various array index. As we all know, if you have gone through the array programs, there are indices that needs to be followed. If I'm having a string hello, what happens in memory block, at index 0 h will be stored and at index 4 o will be stored. Now at fifth index my null character will be stored. Okay, as we know in array all the elements get stored from 0 to size -1 index. Only the difference in string is that it ends with a null character also. Okay, so here I have taken one variable for my looping iteration. If you have not gone through the array programs, please go through that first. Go through the previous video first, then only you will understand how to deal with the character array. Otherwise, this will go quite tough for you. Okay, so watch previous video first, then only jump to the string. Second variable which I have taken is count. Why I have taken count? That is for counting the number of vowels present in a string. Initially, I have initialized it with value 0. Okay, why 0? So that whenever the vowel is encountered, I can increment it. Okay, I have not given any value to this variable c, so that means at first step it will take any value from the memory or previous program. That is the concept of garbage value. If I'm not assigning any value to a variable, it takes any random value, which is known as garbage value. You can see in this sentence, I'm assigning a value 0 to c. That means now the garbage value gets re-returned with the value 0. Okay, so that is the concept of garbage value. If you do not assign any value and you do a program, it will take any random value. Now I have taken one character array whose name is S and size is 1000. Why character array? Because we have seen in the first slide, string is the collection of characters, or we can say sequence of characters or one-dimensional array of characters, right? So that's why we have taken the character array of 1000 size. That is basically my string. Now it's clearly mentioned in the program I have to accept a string and count the number of vowels. So for accepting, what I'm doing is I'm just printing one message that input a string. Okay, I'm just writing this sentence here that input a string. I can write any message here. Then I'm scanning it with the getAs function. Why getAs? I can use scanf also, fgetAs also, but there is a limitation in scanf that it terminates the letters which will come after your blank space. So to avoid that, we have taken getAs. You can use fgetAs also. After taking your string in this variable s, because I have mentioned getAs in bracket s, that means this array will hold my string now, whatever I'm inputting it. Now I have to traverse through its indices. Okay, suppose I'm having a string entered by the user hello, then at s of 0 h will be stored, at s of 1 e will be stored. Why s? Because I have taken the array name as s. Okay, whatever the name of the array, indices will be associated with it. So at s of 0 h is there, s of 1 e is there, s of 2 l is there. Okay, similarly like that. So now I have taken a for loop which will traverse through whole character array. I'm starting it with c is equal to 0. Now my condition is that s of c not equal to null. What this condition means that my array needs to be traversed till my string ends. S of c in the sense s of c will be incremented here, the c++ is there, till the last index of the array. Okay. So till I find the null character. Why null character? Because every string ends with a null character by default by the compiler. Suppose I'm not even inputting the null, then also my compiler will add the null character by default. So there is one important condition in every string files or string programs, that you are starting with a 0 index, then you are checking the condition s of c not equal to null and c++. So at first step c is equal to 0. At that time it will check what is there in the for loop. You can see here the curly braces of the for loop. If s of c is equal to a, the double equal to is used for comparison. When I use single equal to like this, it is only used for assigning value. But when I use double equal to, it is used for comparison. So it's checking s of 0 is equal to a, capital A and small a both needs to be compared, right? A and small a. If I'm entering a string in capital or small, both the letters needs to be compared, right? So s of 0 for c is equal to 0, it will check s of 0 is equal to a, e, I, o or u, everything in lower and upper both. Then what will happen? It will check, first of all, c is equal to 0. At that time, the condition will be checked that s of 0 not equal to null. Then only it will enter the for loop. This if condition will get checked. If s of 0 is any one of this, then what happens? You can see the braces of if here. Count gets incremented. Okay, the variable value of count was 0. This will get incremented by 1. Suppose I'm having the string hello. I'm having something like this H E, okay, L L and O. I'm having a string of 5 letters. Okay, then what happens when c is equal to 0? S of 0 is my h. Okay, So it will check whether it is A, E, I, O or U. It's not there, so my count will not get incremented. Here the count stays 0 as it is. Now the next one is C++. So when the C++ will occur, now it checks for this condition s of z not equal to null. So now it checks for s of 1. It started with s of 0, now it turns for s of 1, which is my letter E. Okay. So at s of 1, it will check any letter among this. Yes, you can identify this E. So the count variable gets incremented. As it was 0, now the count variable is 1. Okay. After that, this C++ occurs. So now s of 1 is s of 2. Okay. At s of 2, it has to check the letter L, the first L. S of 2 is not equal to null, true, because I'm having one letter here. It's not end of the string. Again, it will check for this, any from A, E, I, O and U. No, nothing from there. So counter will stay as it is, which is only 1. It will not get changed. Okay, condition is false here. If is false here, so count will not get incremented. Now there is one more C++. Okay, now my index will move from 2 to 3. So it will check for the S of 3. Again, it's L. It's not null character. Okay, and it's not a vowel, so my counter will not get incremented because the condition here gets false. So counter is as it is 1. When it will occur the last character C++ s of 4, it will check s of 4 is also not equal to null because the letter O is there. It's matching with this criteria. So now my count is getting incremented, so it will give the value me 2, right? After this, when the C++ will occur, now the C will be 5. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and C will be 5. At s of 5, as it's starting from s of 0 to s of 5, the null character will be there because string gets terminated with a null character, right? So this condition is false now. S of C not equal to null is false now. So what it does, it comes out of the for loop. You can see my for loop completes here. So now it comes out of the for loop. So that is only one sentence after the for loop, that printf number of vowels in the string is count. So we have got the count variable here, the value 2, and it will print the value 2, right? So that is the simplest logic in which you can count the number of vowels. Don't forget that indices start from s of 0 to s of whatever the size is, and after that null character is added. Suppose my string is hello, then s of 0 to s of 4 is occupied by hello. S of 5 is my null character. Okay, just remember that. Now you can see the example in programming coding also, which I'm turning in the. So this is the code. You can see if you execute this, the output will be like input a string. I'm entering the string that programming for problem solving, and it has counted number of vowels as 8. Okay, so that's it. You can deal with the string functions. Any more doubts in string, then also you may ask. Any queries regarding that, just go through your textbooks also. Any other material regarding string will also be fine. So thank you. If you are having any doubts, you may ask.